All right. All right. Well, Paige, it's nice to meet you. I feel like I've seen briefly faces in class, but nice to meet you. Are you in the MBA? Which MBA program are you doing?
Yeah, first of all, it's nice to meet you too. And I'm in the AMBA program. So I just graduated this past May.
Nice. Did you graduate from Belmont?
Yeah, I did.
Oh,
What
cool,
program were
cool.
you in?
So I'm like the weird one. I am actually in a Master's of Science for Strategic Communication and Leadership, but got to take this class as an elective.
Sorry, you cut out there at the end. What did you say?
Oh, sorry. I said I'm actually in. It's a Master's of Science for Strategic Communication and Leadership.
Cool.
So I got to take this class as an elective because I was like, I know I need some help in the negotiation world.
It's been a really cool class. I feel like it's going to be super useful.
So good. It's so good. And she's so like, she keeps my attention. It's fun. It's so applicable. I swear, I think I've used negotiation more in like relationships
I
than
know.
like business wise,
Mhm. Yeah, it's crazy. It's funny how she was talking about making a scorecard for your like relationships in your life. I was like, okay, I don't know if I would go that far, but it would make sense.
I liked it. I was like, shoot, I could have done that at totally reflected the whole time she's saying it. I was like, oh, this is embarrassing.
Also, I don't know, I don't think it's mine, but every now and then your sound will like cut out and I
Oh,
like will miss the last like little bit just as a warning in case I'm like asking you
yeah.
what you said.
Yeah, no. That's totally fine. Sorry.
No, you're
I'm not sure what the internet speed. I'm not home right now, so
no, you're good. We'll just go with
that's
it.
what we're working with here.
All right, cool. You jump right into it.
Yeah, let's do it. All right. Well, Allison, it is so nice to finally have some time to chat and to catch up. I'm curious. Can we just start with like talking about how your experience is going? Are there any certain concerns or things that you would like to talk about?
Yeah, so actually, up until this point, I've had a really, really good experience with the company. Especially, I've loved working under you and the opportunities that you've given me just with promoting me so quickly and really just believing in the work that I've been producing. And so I think that's just something that I wanted to reiterate was up until this point, I've had no issues with the company or with you, but there has been some tension that has been kind of circulating around the office that I don't know if you're aware of. But yeah, I just wanted to come and talk to you just to kind of clear the air and make sure that we're all on the same page because I know we all have the same goal, just to make the best games possible. And so yeah, I just kind of wanted to clarify everything and just make sure we're all on the same page and just honestly to ask if there's anything that I could be doing better or any suggestions that you have for me.
Yeah, well, let's start with I know that you've mentioned several times that up until this point, so kind of fill me in like what's going on, what are you feeling? I want to hear from you, I want to know your concerns. This team is important. We're all working on this project for the casino game, and that's kind of I guess what's brought us together in this team. And so I want to hear from you, like what's going on. You mentioned you wanted to clear the air, and I want to listen. And if you don't mind, if is that okay?
Yeah, I definitely want to kind of get everything out there. And so I guess from my side, we were all at that retreat kind of brainstorming ideas. And I was the one who threw out this whole casino idea and was super excited about it. And honestly, from the get go, I kind of felt some tension in terms of I feel like some of our coworkers felt that I wasn't very qualified to work on this, or I just felt like they honestly wanted it for themselves, for good reason, because I think it's a really, really strong game, probably the strongest in the R&D pool that we have right now. But having said that, I really have just been taking a deep dive into this game. I mean, I've spent countless hours, and I know my team has been working really, really hard on it as well. Just trying to make it as good of a game as possible, ultimately for the good of the company. But I definitely feel like I'm being discriminated against a little bit, and also I feel kind of left out of the team, if I'm being honest, and a little bit underappreciated. Um, there's some stuff that I've noticed that we can get into, just around the office and through conversations that I've had that I definitely want to bring to your attention and see if we can kind of resolve. But having said that, what do you know about the situation? Like, have people come to you with any concerns?
Yeah. So what I know is I've had managers, they've come to me with concerns of, that they're concerned about your approach. Maybe they're perceiving your approach as aggressive or abrasive. They're looking for more teamwork. And here's the thing, in a team, you're going to have all kinds of different personalities, right? And with, this group of managers having been working together for a while, it's going to be easier, I think, for them to look at your behavior and call it XYZ, right? So I recognize that. Also, female to female, I think that there are conversations for us to have that are positive. And then there are things, of course, that we can both work on, right? The managers have come to me and they've expressed those concerns. They think that your communication is aggressive. Like I said, your approach is abrasive. That, for the most part, is that those are the two main issues that they've mentioned. I do notice that, the communication, I think, amongst all team
You just
members,
put out a little bit. You said you noticed what?
yes, that the communication between all team members is not very even. It is noticeable that, the guys are communicating more amongst themselves and kind of leaving you out of that ring. So I recognize that. That is something that needs to be addressed for sure. But for the most part, that's what I know from the managers. So if there's anything else that I'm unaware of, please bring to my attention. I want to make sure that I see the full spectrum here of what's going on so that we can make this a successful team for everyone.
Yeah, of course. I really appreciate you kind of hearing me and seeing my side and taking a moment to kind of sit in my shoes. First and foremost, I just wanted to apologize for any abrasive conduct that I've had towards my team members. I think that really just comes from my passion for the game, and ultimately, putting my best work forward, having been the kind of leader for this game. But some things that I have noticed is, well, actually, I have a question to ask you before I say this. Basically, so are you aware what of the feedback that they have given me on the game?
Yes, that it's boring. It's boring. It's too cutesy, simplistic. Yes, that's the feedback that I've received that they have given you. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct. Are you also aware of the division's most basic rule when it comes to feedback? If you're
Mhm.
not, I can inform you of it.
Please, yes.
Yeah, so it's actually the most basic reviewing role. So if we're giving feedback to any of our peers' work, it's to judge what the buyers want and not the programmers think is entertaining. And so
Mhm.
I think that one, their opinions really hurt my feelings just out of the fact, and I feel like it would hurt anyone's feelings if you put a lot of time and effort into something and you get negative feedback. It doesn't always feel awesome, but I think that it's really important to note that they kind of stepped outside those guidelines, and it wasn't necessarily constructive criticism. It felt almost like they were just trying to kind of pick a fight or kind of like rub me the wrong way. And so I didn't know if you had any opinions on that.
Yeah, so I think that there was maybe a misconception or miscommunication with what that ideal buyer looks like, right, for the casino. Um, and I know this, having worked with you for much longer than they have during your 3 years with the company. Um, you are more, and please correct me if I'm wrong, but I think given your background, you're more used to working on kids programming, games for them that are learning in nature, that kind of thing. So you're bringing that background to this team, which is what I appreciated. And I thought that you would be able to bring that kind of a fresh new perspective and create a more well-rounded team, right? And so I think the idea here is for casino, the ideal buyer was more illustrated as a young single male. So I think had they given you feedback also of like they would have preferred like more like cocktail and more of like a sexy, if you will, vibe to
Yeah.
this project.
Yeah, so that is some of the feedback that they have given, and having heard that and having given my background, I kind of wanted to fact check that. And
Mhm.
so, are you aware of what the marketing department has to say about that?
I am not. I did receive feedback from the VP of marketing. He reached out to me to let me know that you had reached out to them asking for resources, and he was a little upset just because they were hard pressed, and I didn't know that you had reached out to them. Um, so that's kind of as far as the communication went there with the marketing department. Um, so when he reached out to me, I was a little surprised, but of course, you are the manager now on this project, and I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt that there were information that you needed. I would just like to say for future reference, please let me know if you want to reach out to different departments just as a professional courtesy as your superior. If you go straight to them and they can't provide that information, there might be a workaround that we could implement in order to get you the information that you needed. But that's as much information that I
Okay, yeah, awesome. I wasn't aware that it was kind of not against the rules, but would bother you, I guess, if I reached out. So I definitely will keep that in mind moving forward. But the information I did receive back from them kind of confirmed my intuition about the project, and
know.
the studies actually said that family style entertainment has become a buzzword in the casino world, and that all of these huge kind of operations in Las Vegas are a testimony to this new thinking. And like you were saying earlier, like the cocktail vibe and all of that kind of stuff is kind of being put in the past. And the studies really, really showed that the big money was in actually the kind of family style, wholesome gambling environment. And so, um, yeah, so I guess it was a little frustrating for me knowing that I was doing what was best for the company, and my colleagues were um, honestly just not really appreciative of kind of my ideas, and they kind of just wanted to run with their own. And um, because of that, I feel where I don't feel, I know that you guys are continuing the project without my assistance. And so I think um, more than anything, that's not really making a whole lot of sense to me. So if you could shed any light on that, I would love to hear.
Yeah, for sure. So when they provided that feedback, was there any conversation with the other managers that, hey, this is my reasoning for doing this? Like, this is going to be very beneficial for this project. Did that communication ever happen, or did you just tell me how you felt when that happened?
I'm sorry, you cut out the first little bit of that question.
No, I just said whenever, so when the managers gave you that feedback, did you come back and tell them like, hey, this is my reasoning for doing this. I think it's really going to push the project forward,
Are you
and kind of
referring to Are you referring to the feedback I just told you about the marketing department?
yes. So when they came back and said, oh, this is our ideas, it needs to be more sexy, more cocktail, blah, blah, blah. Did you reinforce like your reasoning was, I got this information from the marketing department and it's really going to be beneficial for this project. This is why.
There really wasn't much dialogue after that, if I'm being honest. Definitely, I think there should have been. There was another time that I'm thinking of. Are you aware of any comments that Bruce has made?
No. So I am aware that he had told me, because obviously we did lose two programmers who were upset. They did claim that it was very difficult to work with you. So I, of course, wanted to talk about that, see what happened, get your perspective on things, because I truly believe, for one experience, there are more than just one perspective. So um, he did say, that you were very critical of his work and you had very strong opinions, and that he claimed that you were demanding that he design programs your way. So he very much painted this kind of my way or the highway illustration from your leadership. And so please tell me your feelings, your thoughts.
Yeah, I would love to share with you kind of what happened with Bruce, sorry. Um, so essentially, honestly, I wish I would have came to you and notified you of the situation before it got out of hand. But it actually was, we were working on another project and we had to design characters, or he was in charge of designing characters for this whole game. And he actually wanted to make one of the females completely topless in the game. And I guess that was just really where I put my foot down, because I knew that the company was going to receive really bad publicity if that character were to be released. And so I think honestly it was a big misunderstanding, because I 100% had the best interests of the company in mind. And I think that if you were in my shoes, correct me if I'm wrong, you would have probably made the same decision to not let that character roll out. And so that's essentially what happened with Bruce.
Wow, yeah. Like I said, there are two sides or two perspectives to every encounter. I definitely was not aware of that, and I very much appreciate you taking that stand for the company. And that's what I'm saying too, as females and coming in with a female perspective, that was so important for this engagement for me. And so I want you to know that. Um, yeah, I was not aware of that situation, but I do appreciate that you took that stand. I would in the future appreciate, when things are happening, please let me know, because then if someone leaves the company and, all we're getting is the feedback saying, I can't work with her, she's too demanding, it's her way or the highway, then of course, I have to speak with HR. They're going to ask what's going on. This is, two people who have left. So I just want to make sure that you're fairly represented in that, and that your leadership style and your approach is not wrongfully perceived or attacked. Okay.
Yeah.
So one of those, like, help me help you. The more communication that we can have, and open dialogue that we have, I think the better. And with that, I truly, Allison, I want to apologize to you, because there are training and opportunities for development that I have failed to offer you. And so you've kind of you've been in this manager role, and for a year. And so I have truly done you a disservice in that regard, and I apologize. So before we end this meeting, it is a priority for me to have that discussion with you and get some things in the books, different training, and I want to schedule coaching sessions so we can have this open dialogue more often. Because I want to see you succeed in this role, and I believe that you can succeed in this role.
Yeah, first of all, I accept your apology, and I'm extremely open to doing any trainings. Like I said, I think we all have the same interest in mind, just making this company as successful as possible. So, yeah, I accept your apology, and I appreciate that for sure. I guess my question on that is, what does that look like for you? Like, how can we best streamline this communication so that there are like, less, I guess, issues like this that come up in the future?
Yeah. Um, I mean, so I'm pretty responsive to email that seems impersonal, but like if something's going on, if you want to shoot me an email or a text, I prefer to have a face-to-face conversation just so that we're both kind of focused on the same topic. We are fully engaged, and that's my preference, is to schedule that time together to discuss. If it's, if it's an emergency situation, then call me, email me, text me, and I'm pretty easily I'm pretty available to team members. So
Awesome. Yeah, it sounds really good to me. Yeah, and I just wanted to make sure that it was clear that I do apologize for being a little harsh on the team, and I just wanted to reiterate that. But having known, or now that I feel like you've gotten kind of a more clear picture of maybe some of the mistreatment that I've experienced, I was just wondering kind of how you would feel if you were in my shoes.
yeah, 100%. So actually, I have been in your shoes before, and it's not easy. It is not easy being surrounded by peers who, you're coming into a new team that can be very threatening to someone, that can be maybe even intimidating to you. And I'm not saying you felt intimidating. I'm saying in my case, I definitely felt intimidated. And especially when it's a team of all males, I'm the only female. I kind of feel it's hard to fight the quieted, So like if I wanted to fight back on an issue or an approach, I would do so, but also as very quickly hushed, so to speak. So then, and my supervisor was a male at that time. And so then it's like, who do I talk to, So again, that's why I want to apologize to you. I have always vowed to not be that supervisor and to do everything that I can to provide that voice for my female peers. And that's not to favorite females over males. I think, truly in a team setting, that we are, like you said, working towards the same goal. And I think a lot of times perceptions, past experiences in the workplace are brought into a team setting. And so I just want to work to kind of help break down those barriers, send out reminders, guys, we're a team here. It's not what's best for Allison. It's not what's best for Bruce. It's not what's best for Jamie. It's truly what's best for the company. So yeah, so I definitely, I truly empathize with you in that situation. But also I want to minimize feelings of inadequacy. It is not okay for your peers to call you or name you unqualified. It was my decision as to who to bring onto this team, and I chose you for a reason. And with that being said, everyone on this team has room for improvement, and those will be addressed in their performance reviews as well.
Yeah, I really appreciate that. I think honestly, if everything's out on the table, I almost feel a little bit underappreciated from you as well. Just as an employee, I really value kind of knowing when I am um, making strides in the right direction, and I appreciate that correction if I'm not as well. And so I feel like just recently, I feel like I really haven't heard that much communication from you, whether that's positive or negative. And I just wanted to kind of let you know that that's what's really important to me as an employee. And I feel like I can do my best work when I am getting more feedback. So I feel like keeping the openness of communication in mind, that it would be really helpful if you could just kind of give me a heads up if you think I'm doing well, or if there's anything you think I need to fix in the future, just to be more proactive about things.
Yeah. Again, and I own that, and I take full responsibility for that lack of communication and those opportunities, like I said, for training and coaching. That's why I would love to schedule. You let me know what's comfortable. I was thinking either bi-weekly or monthly coaching sessions.
Yeah.
Would you prefer bi-weekly, um, monthly?
I feel
What?
like I feel like we are super busy, so it might be helpful just to do monthly coaching sessions.
All right. And then we can address any issues that have come up, things that maybe I've noticed that need work here, or, less here, more here kind of thing. So, and two, just to keep that communication going. I value the work that you put in to this company and this project especially. So, and I very much appreciate, you telling me about the marketing information, because that's huge. That shows going above and beyond on your part for research, and not just trying to spin this project and make it your own. So I truly applaud and appreciate that.
Yeah.
Uh,
I guess one more thing or I have two more things I want to bring up, but first, more of a less serious, but something that genuinely did hurt my feelings a little bit. Um, are you invited to, this is funny. Are you invited to the weekly poker night?
yes, I am, actually.
Yeah, so honestly, I just have a little bit of FOMO, and I ran into one of our colleagues at the printer, and there was a flyer for it. And I feel like it's a pretty known thing that I enjoy playing poker, considering I've created this gambling game. I've really been devoting a lot of my time to it. And so I know it's not a huge thing and it's not something that's happening inside of the office, but I feel like maybe if I was invited to something like that, people could get to know me better outside of, I guess, more of a harsh leadership role, and really just as a friend, because I value that kind of in the group and in the company as a whole.
Yeah, absolutely. To be honest with you, Allison, I didn't know that you weren't invited, but that's huge for sure. You need to absolutely be included on that. Um, I think too that that would 100% help build culture within the team. The other managers need to get to know you, and then you can better get to know them. That way, communication. I think that will immensely improve, once they get to know more of your personality outside the office. That's huge.
Hmm.
Absolutely, that can happen.
Yeah, and even the encounter that I did have, it was Eric actually. Um, he almost kind of he's being a little bit snarky and rude about it too when I asked him. He was basically just kind of mocking me and saying I wouldn't appreciate the environment. And so I just wanted to kind of bring that to your attention. Not that that's a huge deal, but just that I feel like I really have been. I don't want to use the word bullied, but definitely been receiving less respect than I think I deserve in the office, almost regardless of how intense I am being as a leader. I feel like it's important, just as the respect that I try and show you, and vice versa, along with my other colleagues.
Yeah. Two quick question with that, Allison. So, uh, obviously, I'm technically your superior, right? However, we are a team. So, I want to know, what would you think? what would you deem appropriate in how you envision me handling that communication with the team members? Because it absolutely needs to be handled. However, I don't want to do it in a way that, you know, may seem
Targeted almost.
yeah, like I don't want to make the situation worse, yet it's going to be addressed. So
Yeah.
are there any things that, give me your thoughts and feelings about that?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I would agree with you that it could get a little bit awkward, and the situation could honestly escalate if you kind of pinpointed me. I don't think that would do any good. So, I guess a suggestion I would have is just, I mean, I know it takes time to build relationships and to specifically reconcile relationships. And so I think it would be a good start just for me to start coming to these weekly poker nights, showing my face outside of the office a little bit. And then maybe if you wanted to organize a different team building exercise that we could all participate in outside of the office, maybe a retreat or just something small like a dinner, anything. I feel like it could slowly kind of reconcile that because I feel like when it comes to situations like this, if you just try and put a lot of pressure on it, it gets worse. And the last thing I want is more tension in the office.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm so glad that you mentioned that. I'd actually made a note to ask you if you would feel comfortable in like a dinner setting outside the office. Um, I'm looking to, obviously, I need to put in more intentionality on making these things happen. So along with the coaching session, I was thinking that we could do a monthly team building exercise where we could take suggestions from each manager. So let's say one month you want to have you'd rather do a dinner, we could do that. You could pick the restaurant. Let's say next month, you know, Eric wants to go to Top Golf, we can do that. Kind of switch it up, do kind of games with food and drinks. So
Yeah, that sounds awesome to me. Yeah, I think that would really kind of ease the situation more. Um, And I guess more of a serious, I said earlier that I have two things that I wanted to mention. So the second one that has really been on my mind and wanted to be transparent and asking you to be transparent back with me is, well, first I have kind of a mini question that leads me into this. How long
mhm.
has Scott been working for the company?
How long has Scott been with the company? 8 years.
8 years.
Mhm.
Okay. Um, I was just wondering why he is getting paid $15,000 more than me for the same job.
So, wait, your question was, why is he getting what you say?
He's getting paid $15,000 more than me for doing the same job.
Yes. So we look at two different things here when we are calculating salary, right? We look at tenure with the company and program revenue. So
What was
when
that
look,
second? Sorry, what was that second thing you just said?
yeah, program revenue.
Okay.
So you know, you worked on your last two projects or programs were O Trouble, and that program revenue fell around 145K. And then International Geographic, that brought in around 28K. So that's something that was on my list to talk to you about. Those numbers fall significantly below average. Okay. Um, you know, you've been on this engagement for a year and you are, age isn't a thing, but as far as tenure with the company, that's also low as well. So when looking at your salary, those two things 100% affect that number.
Okay.
However, it is a goal of mine to work with you again with, I want to do coaching, training, opportunities for development, because I want to see you bringing in those revenue numbers as well. Okay. So if we could get your program revenue, if we could get those numbers up, tenure we can't do much about, right? And that falls lower kind of on the totem pole than the program revenue. So if we could see a good boost in that, for you, that's 100% going to help with the salary. But also performance is a portion of the salary as well, right? So now knowing bits of information I was unaware of, thank you so much for your transparency, because it makes a huge difference when having discussions about salary. So with your performance, it's not, terrible. I don't want to make you feel like you're just doing horrible. It's not that at all. I do target a few things that we need to work on, because that's going to get you to the salary that you're looking for, okay? And it's going to make you feel more a part of the team, and it's overall, you're going to grow more professionally, right? As far as performance, it was mentioned to me that there was an outburst with another employee that was very negative, that, you kind of shamed him for his work out loud. There was someone who heard it, and they reported it to me as well. So we need to address that again, with just like stepping into this manager role. It is so important to we've got to regulate our feelings, right? Remember that everyone that you speak to, they have feelings as well. You may be upset, but as a manager, it's our responsibility as leaders to recognize that they are a human being first, right? So you never know what caused whatever it was that made you upset. They could be having a horrible day, the significant other, and he could have had a huge fight, you know what I'm saying? Or a family member got sick, he couldn't get the work done. So I do ask that we make that a priority, just in communicating with peers and those that report to you. Okay, so just monitor that.
Well, first of all, I just want to apologize, and I will go out of my way to apologize to that team member that I had that outburst on. Tensions are definitely running high with the combination of kind of the discrimination that I've been feeling. And then on top of that, just these long nights trying to make this program as good as possible. I think that, we're all human, like you're saying. It's easy to let your emotions get the best of you at times. And so that's definitely going to be a priority of mine in the future, moving forward, and how I handle that. Something that I wanted to bring up, I know that you said performance. Also, thank you for clarifying the salary. Having known those two indicators, it honestly makes a lot more sense why I'm getting paid less, and it makes me feel better about that situation. But having said that, with performance as one of the indicators, as we know, we had two of my team members kind of fall off of my project for various reasons. And a lot of the work is being split up with less people, therefore kind of causing more stress. And so I really do want to make this the best program possible. And I feel like I'm going to need adequate team members in order to do that, and therefore increase my salary. So I don't know if there's any way that we could kind of reconcile my project. And honestly, well, since I've been there, they've been working on it without me, just kind of like get my project back, or at least join the team. And I do promise that I will not have any more outbursts like that, and we'll be able to handle the stress a little bit better. I think the conversation that we're having right now is easing a lot of the tensions that I do feel, especially with the solutions that we've come up with in mind. But I would like the opportunity to continue to work on this project, maybe with the original team members. If not the original team members, possibly some new people, if whoever I was mad at didn't want to work on it with me. But yeah, I just want that opportunity to be able to prove myself, and ultimately, not that salary is the driving force. It's definitely the quality of the game, but it is something that has been in the back of my mind.
Yeah. So actually, I have asked Scott to kind of work with you throughout the duration of this project. So you're still going to be on the engagement, okay? And I think this is going to be such a great learning opportunity. So Scott actually being with the company for 8 years, I think can really provide you some context around like how to incorporate values and our mission into each project. And I really think that the insight he can bring as you all work together on this can be so tremendous moving forward with different projects. So that is in the pipeline. And so once the project is finished and we get the program revenues back, I have high hopes for this. And I think it's going to serve everyone well, especially the company. So what are your thoughts around that with Scott helping you or kind of coming alongside of you and you all partnering to finish the rest of the project?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think that I'm capable of handling the project on my own. But I am willing to, I guess, come alongside him if it really is going to be a learning experience, like you're saying. Um, and if that's gonna kind of help with the camaraderie of the team and ease any of the tensions. Ultimately, at the end of the day, um, I just expect a certain level of respect as an employee, as I would assume you do the same. And so that's kind of my primary concern. And I think we're kind of coming to a solution of how we can kind of resolve that moving forward.
Yeah, 100%. Um, Allison, I really appreciate, you taking the time to stop in and us have this conversation. I can't apologize enough for not doing this earlier. I feel like it's truly been a disservice to the both of us and the team. And as your superior and leader, I own that and I apologize. So I do think moving forward, for you to earn the respect that you deserve, as well as the other team members, I think that the first team building experience will start next month. I think that we need to kind of have a meeting all together and just discuss the project, kind of come back to the same kind of playing field. I mean, you have such a great perspective, and the research that you found from the marketing team is huge. So we need to make sure that they know that and know that you were looking out, for the best of the project. So I know that communication didn't happen. We need to. I think that would help bridge the gap of the division within the team. So the team building, and then I truly want to have those monthly coaching sessions with you. We can discuss, whatever issues come up, and if you're, going through a tough time or whatever could be affecting your work, I hope that you would feel comfortable in letting me know that. And then also, we will get those poker night invitations sent out to everyone. You are welcome to come play. Absolutely. I don't go to all of them. I get the invite and I go to the ones that I can, but for sure, you need to be included on that invitation. So I will let them know. And I think the next one, is coming up pretty soon. So are there any other things that we didn't address? Any other thoughts or feelings that you may have towards the situation?
No, honestly, I think we covered it all. I feel a lot better having talked to you about all this and clearing the air, making sure that you know the facts and that I also understand where everyone else is coming from. So yeah, I'm looking forward to kind of rebuilding these relationships and hopefully making this casino game as successful as possible.
Yeah, and then of course we're all looking forward to see what how this turns out, and if the revenue comes back great, then guess what? That's good news for everyone, right? Everyone will be excited for this next performance review because the salary will most likely be increased. So that's an ongoing conversation. Please check in with me as needed. Once you and Scott start working on this engagement together and he provides a little extra support in whatever way you need, I hope that you will learn as much as you can from him And then if you run into any issues, please reach out to me and let me know, okay?
Awesome. Thank you so much.
All right, Jamie. I mean, Allison.
Also, it's not recording anymore.
No, stop.
I don't know what happened.
I'll stop recording.
Did it?
Wait, yeah. It is still recording, I think.
Oh, okay, good. It said recording earlier and then it went away and I was like, oh shoot. But
Okay. So here's the question. How do I upload this?